Hi there, my name is Kelly. I'm a solutions engineer here at Alloy. You might have heard by now that Alloy powers some pretty cool stuff, such as Amazon's Buy with Prime. Specifically, we help their merchants who might also have direct-to-consumer stores, such as a Magento, a Shopify, or a BigCommerce site, keep their product catalog and their order data in sync between that direct-to-consumer storefront and Amazon's network. Today we're going to take a look under the hood and show you how you, as an application developer, might be able to offer a similar catalog and product sync directly within your application. Inside of the Alloy embedded account here, I have 4 integrations, and today we're going to take a look at this Magento integration. Now, to power this catalog and product sync, in this example, we have a few different workflows. So first things first, when the user turns on this integration, we want to sync all of their historical products from the storefront into our system. So we have a workflow to take care of that, download all the products and send them over. We'll have a second group of workflows to capture the updates. So we have products created and products updated, both of which are going to be listening for events in that Magento and pushing those changes to our app. Last, we're also going to help data go the other direction. So it's one thing to bring in all of this product catalog and inventory data, but as we're creating orders, we also want to write those back out to Magento so that we can deduct the inventory correctly and also just keep our systems in sync. Let's go ahead and hop into the order created to Magento workflow. This represents data coming from your application, the application source, and being pushed to Magento. We're doing this with Alloy's custom event trigger. Inside the trigger, we can see that I've previously given Alloy some data for what this is going to look like when I create the order in my app. I send this data over to Alloy via API, and then we are able to map that data into Magento's new order API. Before we do that, you'll see I have a little bit of extra logic here. When the new order comes in, we first get a list of all the customers that are currently in Magento. We're going to check if that customer already exists, and if they do, we'll go ahead and create the order, but if that customer doesn't exist, we'll first create the customer, which we can use the data that came from the event, and then we'll subsequently create the order using details from the custom event and anything from these previous lookups that we might need. Once we've mapped in all of our data, and we've built all of our logic, we can release these workflows, which makes them ready for our customers to use. To take a look at how that looks, we'll go into the demo application that I've set up here. You'll notice that we have 4 integrations, which actually are the same integrations that we previously saw in this Alloy embedded account. Now that they've been surfaced on a front end where end users can interact with them, so you can imagine this would be like a settings page or an integrations page within your app. When they hit connect, it'll launch the Alloy SDK, the front end SDK. Now this is actually something you can drop into your app, and most of our customers use this to abstract away all of the complexities that come with integrating to different tools, specifically for authentication. If they've never seen this before, they'll go ahead and set up their account following the instructions. But I already have one here, so I'll go ahead and just hit finish, which enables a copy of these workflows and installation for this particular user. I'll next head over to this orders dashboard, which just has some dummy data in it, and I want to show how we can power some new orders going through. If I go back into Alloy real quick and into that particular order flow, we'll take a look at how the data actually flows. So right now I just have this one previous run. So let's go back to our dashboard. And like I said, that's an API trigger. So as soon as I click this button, that triggers the workflow, which then creates the data in our Magento. Let's go ahead and see how that works. Once I've clicked the button to create the new order, we see that this kicks up to 10, and we have a second workflow that's run. We can click into each of the steps, and we can actually see the specific data that was sent in this case. We see that it pulled the list of customers, checked if there was any existing customer, it decided that this was a new one, so it created the customer and then created the corresponding order for them. If we navigate over to the orders dashboard, we can see all of the order data that was just created, and we can click into a given order and see more info if we'd like. Let's go ahead and test out one of the other directions. Let's head over to product catalog, and let's click on this duffel bag here. I'll go ahead and change this to a $45.99, and we're going to change the quantity to 150. I'll go ahead and hit save, and while that's propagating, we're going to go ahead and look back in Alloy, and just a moment later we'll see those start showing up. When we click into the product updated flow, we can check the logs, and in just a moment we'll see that show up. In the demo application, I'll head over to the products dashboard, which has an extra piece of functionality that lets me check for incoming webhooks. Basically, what we're going to do is, now that we've created the product, we're going to start listening for updates, and just a few minutes later, those updates are going to come through to our side. We can also do the same with creating a new product, so let's see if we can do that while we wait. We'll add some great shoes for $45. We'll say they're 23. I think we probably need to add some configurations based on just our setup here. So I'll go ahead and say we're going to have gray and black. Next, generate products, save. Great. And now that we've made a couple updates, we can go back to our demo application, hit the refresh button, and we see that we're getting some of those product updated events that came through. Particularly, we have the Joust duffel bag, which is the one that we've just edited. And in just a moment, we'll receive the third for product created. So I'll just wait a sec for that to show up here. All right, now that it's just been a minute, I'll refresh there, and we now see our great shoes in our product created event. Of course, in practice, this is something that you're going to send to your webhook ingest server, and you might have some other work that you need to do with it. But for demonstration purposes, we just sent it and displayed it here in the UI. But since we have those things like the price changes, quantity updates, etc., we can now update our local store so that the quantities and product catalog and order data are always in sync between these two apps. Hopefully this gives you a sense of how you can use Alloy to set up a catalog and order sync between your app. Excited to see what you guys will build.